Hi there, my name is Ryan Wyatt and welcome to High Point Music's online video tutorials. So what we're going to cover in today's tutorial, guys, is going to take you through and show you step by step how to play that legendary acoustic tune Layla from the Unplugged concert Eric Clapton did back in the early 90s. So this is a really cool one. I remember the first time I learnt this song, how excited I was because it had a bit of, I don't know, it's just got a bit of swag about it, but looking at it from a more theoretical perspective, we've got some really interesting chord changes and key changes in the verse. With this one, we've got two parts. We're going to look at the intro, which I just played through there, which you heard, and then also we're going to break down the verse, which is all the parts that we're going to need to play this cool little song. So let's jump straight into the lesson. Okay guys, so first things first, we're going to jump straight into the intro. And what we're going to be using here is our first two notes, okay? So we've got our open A, and then our second finger coming onto the third fret like that. So 1, 2, that's our little anacrusis there. So those of you who don't know what an anacrusis is, it's a theoretical term for a bit of music which picks up before the tune actually starts. So as you're counting in, you might go 1, 2, 3, and 4, the tune starts on beat 1. So there you go, crash course with anacrusises. Okay, so getting back to the tune, we've got open, third fret there, and then into our first little chord which we're going to be using, which is a D5 voicing here. So we've got our first finger on the second fret, I should say, on the G string, then our third finger on the third fret on the B string. So the reason why I like to use 1 and 3 for this is because firstly it transfers perfectly into your D major if you like, but with our little anacrusis I like having my second finger free to be able to go. Okay, I find that far more efficient in terms of from a technique perspective. Okay, but that's our chord there, so these three strings on the D5 we'll be looking at. Alright, so after we do that, guys, we go 0, 3, 1, 2, like that. So 0, 3, 1, 2, 3, there, okay, back on the third fret with our second finger. So, and then we go all the way down into a B flat 5 power chord shape. So we've got our first finger on the first fret on the A string, our third finger comes on to the third fret on the D string, and then below that we have our fourth finger on the third fret on the G string, and then so again these three strings here. So that's our B flat 5. So putting that together with the tune. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, like that. 5, 6, and then guys we take it up that same B flat 5 shape. It's a completely movable chord shape. We take that all the way up to the third fret. Okay, and the two voicings we're going to be using here is a C major like this, and then we're taking our first finger away to bring the open A string into play. They're the two voicings, okay? So the first one, C5 like that, and we lift our first finger away like that. So the way that fits together in the tune, guys, so 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 7, 8, 9. So 7 on 8 we take our first finger away here, and then back to 9 there on our C5. Seven, 8, 9, and then to finish it off we can go back to our D5 shape down here, 10 just like that. So all the way through, guys, nice and slowly. Starts again, 0, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, cool. So going nice and steady with that one, guys. Particularly if we're using a pick, it's really important just to take your time and really pay attention to the strings we're hitting. Just like that, because as I alluded to running you through those voicings, they're pretty important, some of those voicings, that we just target the strings where our fingers are at. So if we don't, we're going to be getting a few of those semitone clashes, which we probably want to avoid with this one. But just take your time, eyes on the strings where you're picking, just build it up slowly and the motor skills will take over and you'll be doing it without looking in no time, okay? Just slow and steady. Cool, so that's pretty much what we need to cover for the introduction, which also doubles as the chorus and also as the bridge, which he solos over. Alright, so jumping back onto the fretboard now, and we're going to jump straight into the verse. So let's run through our chords that we want to do. Our first one is a C sharp minor bar chord. Okay, so our first finger is making a bar from the 5 strings down. In reality, we're only fretting the A string here and the E string like that, but we just make a bar with our first finger and let the remaining 3 fingers fill out the rest of the voicing. So working bottom up, put our second finger on the 5th fret, okay, on the B string. Our 4th finger then goes onto the G string like that, or sorry, like that I should say, just like that. And then our 3rd finger comes over the top to be on the D string, and then that's us with our first finger just gently sitting on there. So bottom 5, okay. And now for the next voicing we're going to be using, guys, which is a G sharp major, what we're doing is our first finger is coming up to cover the 4th fret on the E string, and then the remaining fingers are all moving up 1 string each. So the 2nd finger comes up to the D, 3rd finger goes up to the A, and the 4th finger comes up to the D there. And that's all 6 strings for that one. Okay. The progression then goes back to a C sharp minor, but then we drop down to a C major down here, which is just quickly, if you don't know it, so 3rd finger on the A string, 2nd finger on the D string, 2nd fret, open G string there, 1st finger on the 1st fret on the B string. So bottom 5 strings there. Then into a D major, which is our 1st finger here, 3rd finger on the 3rd fret on the B string, 2nd finger on the 2nd fret. Okay, like that. And then into an E major, which is this voicing. We've got our 1st finger on the 1st fret on the G string, 2nd finger goes onto the 2nd fret on the A string, 3rd finger comes onto the 3rd fret, 2nd fret I should say, on the D string. And that's the voicing, all 6. And the last voicing we're going to be used for the first line of this verse is we take away our 3rd finger and open up the D string to make that an E7. Cool, guys, so putting the strumming pattern together with this now. So if we just go really, really slowly, so I use my thumb to indicate it really gently. So 1, 2, and. So it's 1, 2, and 3, we rest, and 4, and. So that's just one bar. So 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and. Okay, so that strumming pattern we just transfer straight to the next chord where we go 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and just like that. And then if we look at bar 3 on the chord or the bar structure below, we've got C sharp minor for 2 beats, so it goes 1 and 2, just like that. So 1, 2, and on beat 3 we've got C major, and beat 4 we have D major, before going into E major in the next bar. So that all put together goes C sharp for 2, C major to D major, then it goes to E major. So like that, C sharp, 2, 3, 4, E major, and then into E7. So let's look at how that works. So we go introducing the strumming pattern now really slowly. So we go 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So just notice on that last bar, the E to E7, I go 1, 2 and. So I just bring that chord change just half a beat forward. So 1 and 2 and. That just makes it a little bit more syncopated, adds a little bit more swag to the feel of the chord progression. So putting the whole thing together now, guys. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Cool, so moving straight into the second half of the verse. Our chords that we're using are F sharp minor. So we've got first finger making a bar across all 6 strings, and then our third finger coming onto the 4th fret on the A string, and our 4th finger coming onto the 4th fret on the D string. So all the way through, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that's an F sharp minor. Second chord we want to use is a B major bar chord. So what's going on here is we've got our first fret or first finger on the 2nd fret on the A string, and then our third finger is making a bar across these 3 strings here. So 1, 2, 3. First finger goes on, 1, 2, 3. Get my second finger out of the way so you can see it better. So 1, 2, 3. Okay, so that's the B, and then the remaining voicings are just E and an A major, which we haven't covered yet. So we've got open A string there. I've got my second finger here, but you can also play it like that with your first finger. So I've just gone second finger, first finger below, 2nd fret on the G, third finger goes in on the 2nd fret on the B string. So like that, or like that. Just switching those first and second fingers around, whichever way you prefer or feels most comfortable for you guys. Alright, so the rhythm for this one, guys, so it's just 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 and 2 and. So that last little bit there was 1 and 2 and. Okay, so the reason why there's a 1 and 2 and little syncopated change there on that last bar is that's because he just needs to bring that chord change half a beat forward to make room for the anacrusis we learnt in the intro. So I'll jump back on the fretboard and show you guys how that works. So last bar of the verse we go 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Okay, so that's why it just comes forward half a beat, so 1 and 2 and 3, just like that. So yeah, compared to the front or the first 4 bars of the verse, the strumming pattern for this one's really quite simple, just going 1, 2, 3, 4, just on every quarter note until we get to that last bar. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 and 2 and, where we implement that strumming pattern that we previously used in the front half of the verse. So I'm going to put this all together for you guys now, play all the way through the verse so you can see what it sounds like, and then you'll know exactly what we're aiming for with our practice. So jumping into it. So 1, 2. Cool, so that's all the parts that we need to cover for this really, really awesome tune, Layla. I really love the vibe of this one. It's got great swag about it. So just take your time, particularly if you're new to bar chords or just getting your head around bar chords. The verse might be a little bit challenging for you, but just slow and steady, identify the areas where you're struggling or where you're not comfortable, and just keep going over them, and turn those weaknesses into a strength. Also guys, just while I mention it, I did a video on doing a quick solo analysis on the solo from this tune. You can check that out on the other videos. There's a bunch of scale diagrams and backing tracks to practice your soloing to go along with that. You just need to sign up to the members area at highpointmusic.com.au, completely free, and you'll have access to all these amazing resources to help you with your playing. So if you guys have enjoyed today's video, you can hit those like, subscribe and share buttons. You can also show your support for the channel via the PayPal donate function below. So any donation that you feel, or a donation which you feel represents the value of the video. Other than that, if you've got any requests for tunes you'd like me to analyze and have a look at for you, send them in. I'm happy to look at them in due course, and they could potentially be featured in future online tutorials. And on top of that guys, if you want to get my help personally, the best way to do that is to book an online consultation where I can have a look at your challenges or your problems, give you the tools and techniques, and get you playing, moving to that next level as quickly as possible. So have fun with this guys. Make sure when you get it going, get a bit of swag in your playing, and I look forward to seeing you all in the next video.